A billionaire once threatened to kill the CEO of his own company. Not over a merger. Not over millions of dollars. Over a hot dog. You've almost certainly eaten it. The Costco hot dog. $1.50, soda included. The same price it's been since 1985, before a lot of us were even born. Here's how the threat actually happened. The man who would one day run Costco came to its co-founder and said, "Look, we're losing money on every single one of these. We have to raise the price." And the co-founder, a man worth more than $1 billion who was running the company at the time, looked him dead in the eye and said, "If you raise that hot dog, I will kill you." He wasn't really joking. For 40 years, Costco has held that price, even as inflation slowly turned a fair little deal into a money loser, and guarded that price tag like their life depended on it. Because get this, that same $1.50 back in 1985 would be worth more than $4 today. Inflation alone should have nearly tripled it. Every business textbook on earth says raise the price. Costco threatened the man who dared suggest it. So here's the question that should be itching at you. Why? Why would a giant, ruthless, profit-hungry company choose to keep selling something at a loss, year after year, decade after decade, and defend that price like a hostage? Stick with me for 5 minutes, and I promise you'll never walk into a Costco the same way again. Because that hot dog isn't really a hot dog. It's the single smartest trick in retail. And once you see how it works, you'll start spotting it everywhere. Now, the easy answer is marketing. Cheap hot dog gets people in the door. Sure, but that's not it, because every store does that. They lure you in with something cheap and then quietly raise it later. Costco did the opposite. They went to war to keep it cheap, and that's the part that doesn't add up yet. So let's actually run the numbers, because someone should. The dog, the bun, the soda, the napkin, the person who hands it to you, the building it's cooked inside. Add it all up, and years later, the CEO admitted it out loud. In his own words, they were losing their rear ends on this hot dog. So, what does a normal company do when a product bleeds cash? It raises the price. Here's what Costco did instead. They built a factory. They started making their own hot dogs, building their own plant out in Tracy, California, purely to control the cost. Then a second one in Morris, Illinois. At one point, they even switched their entire soda supplier just to shave a few pennies off every cup. Read that back slowly. Costco rebuilt an entire supply chain. Factories, suppliers, contracts, just to avoid raising one price by a single dollar. That is not how you treat a hot dog. That is how you protect something precious. And that's the clue. The price was never really about the hot dog. The hot dog was feeding something else, something much bigger and much quieter. And to see it, you have to stop thinking of Costco as a store. Here's the secret hiding in plain sight. Costco barely makes money selling you things. By its own rule, it almost never marks anything up more than about 14%, a tiny fraction of what an ordinary store charges. On the actual products, the TVs, the rotisserie chicken, the absurd tub of mayonnaise, Costco runs close to break even. On purpose. So how is it one of the largest companies on the planet? One number, the membership fee. $65 a year just to walk through the door. And here's the crazy part. That little card in your wallet makes up around 2/3 of Costco's operating profit. Strip those fees away, and one of the biggest companies on earth barely makes a dime on the mountain of stuff it actually sells you. Let that flip everything. Costco isn't really a store that sells food. It's a club that sells membership. And it uses the food to make that membership feel worth it. That move has a name in economics. It's called a loss leader. You take one thing and sell it at a loss, deliberately, knowingly, because it pulls in money somewhere else. The grocery store does it with dirt cheap milk parked at the very back, so you walk past everything else to reach it. It's one of the oldest tricks in retail. But Costco took that little trick and built an entire empire on top of it. Because the hot dog isn't luring you in for one trip. It's protecting the renewal. And that is a completely different game. Think about the psychology of it. You wander the aisles, you spend $200 on things you maybe needed, and then on your way out, a hot dog and a drink for $1.50, and you feel like you won. You feel just for a second like you outsmarted the whole place. And a member who feels like they won renews. That renewal, $65 every year for decades, is worth way more than the few cents they'd ever squeeze out of raising the hot dog. So, the hot dog was never the product. It's the proof. Every single bite is Costco whispering the same promise. You are getting a deal in here. You have always gotten a deal in here. Don't you dare cancel that card. And now you can see why the price can never, ever move. The moment that hot dog jumps to $2, the spell cracks. People start wondering what else went up. A price that hasn't changed in 40 years isn't stubbornness. It's a signal. It says, the one place inflation can't reach you is right here with us. So go back to that boardroom, the co-founder threatening the very man who'd take over his company. If you raise that hot dog, I will kill you. It sounds insane. A billionaire melting down over pocket change. But he wasn't protecting a sausage. He was protecting the most efficient piece of marketing his company ever built. He understood something most bosses never figure out. The $1.50 he loses on the hot dog is exactly what makes the $65 membership feel safe to renew. Kill the hot dog to save a few cents and you don't save money. You start very quietly to kill the trust. And here's the part worth keeping, long after you forget the numbers. The most powerful prices in business aren't the ones that make the most money today. They're the ones that make people trust you tomorrow. Economists will call the hot dog a loss leader. But what Costco really discovered runs deeper than that. They discovered that a price can be a promise. And a promise people actually believe is the most valuable thing a company can own. So the next time someone tells you the Costco hot dog is just a sweet little gift from a generous company, you'll know the real story. It isn't charity. It's the smartest $1.50 in all of retail. You're not being treated. You're being kept. And honestly, even knowing exactly how the trick works, it still kind of works on me too. That's how good it is, and that's the part worth carrying out the door with you. Once you've seen one of these tricks clearly, really seen it, you start spotting them everywhere, and the whole confusing world of money gets a little quieter, a little less mysterious. That's the entire reason this channel exists, to take the invisible machinery behind your money and make it make sense. One story at a time. So, genuinely, thank you for spending these few minutes here. It means more than you know. If you got even one little, I never saw it that way out of this, do me one small favor and subscribe. Every single person who does is telling us to keep going. Keep digging, keep explaining, keep pulling back the curtain. So hit that button and let's keep figuring this out together. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.